A quick reaction to Real Madrid versus Las Palmas.
So, what are your thoughts after that game, Gab, and how Real Madrid bounced back in the end?
Well, we called it, right? We said 2-0, a bit of Vinicius later, ease him back in. I thought it very much photographed the move. At the end of the first half, when the goal wasn't going in, would that angst affect the crowd at the Bernabeu? Possibly, but as I see it, and not as a Real Madrid fan, you worry when you're not creating chances. Real Madrid created a ton of chances. The finishing will come, and it did.
So, Las Palmas is not the best opponent you can play. It's an easy game, at least on paper, when you see their positioning in the league. However, when you saw Real Madrid's performance, especially at first half, chance creation was beautiful. Like, we are creating chance after chances. However, how many of the shots or chances we created, how many of them were in the net? We just scored only one goal at first half. Don't get me wrong, if you look at our performance this season so far, this match could be the best in terms of chance creations. One of the puzzling questions a lot of Madridistas have, can Real Madrid create chance without Kroos and Modric in the midfield? In fact, today's midfield showed that yes, they can. If not just Kroos, even Bellingham didn't play, he was rested. Despite this midfield, combining Camavinga and Tchouaméni and Fede Valverde did very good job. Additionally, to add to the point that Gav made, if you create chance, you will score eventually. And that's exactly what happened today. I honestly prefer this. If you create chance will come. Yes, there are a lot of chances that we should have scored. But sometimes luck doesn't favor you. A lot of players, especially our attackers, did not perform as they should be.
Carlo Ancelotti made changes again today, Ale Moreno, for this clash.
Question for Real Madrid was going to be, are they going to be able to finish the chances? It took a little while. In the end, they did just enough. And some players got important minutes. But I mean, Diaz coming on and being the substitute for Jude Bellingham. The fact that Jude Bellingham did not have to play any minutes today, that's important. Brahim Diaz makes a difference on the field. Joselu gets his goal, and we were joking about it. But yeah, the stadium was then yelling his name, almost acknowledging that, look, we appreciate your work. We want you to do well. We want you to score goals. But there's this sort of this disconnect, I think, in terms of what they do in the final third, because there is this expectation that these guys are going to be Karim Benzema, and they're not. And it's going to be a different way to go about it. And Joselu is going to take 3 or 4 chances where Karim just took 1 or 2 chances in order to score a goal. So, different caliber of player. Is he going to be useful for them? Yeah, certainly. Is he going to score important goals for them? Yes, I think so. Now, is it going to be explosive and dynamic? Probably not. And if that's your expectation, then you got to move on from that. Joselu will be an important part for this team. Is he going to be the difference maker? I don't think so. That's going to happen as a totality of the group. But don't depend on Joselu to be the guy who scored the big goal for you. He scored a goal today, and the stadium went crazy for him. Had he not scored that goal, I think that maybe some booing would have come along with it.
So today when I saw the lineup, I was optimistic and happy that there are some changes. We had to make some changes at midfield, also in our attack. As we said numerous times, Brahim Diaz deserved at least one chance. And today, despite yes, he missed a few chances, but regardless, he showed that glimpse of flair. In fact, he wasn't shy. He was active on the field. He was trying to create chance. He was trying to link up with other players. Overall, going to this match, I think Carlo did his best what he could do to set up a lineup that could win for Real Madrid. Second most important point, that's a good discussion about LA's whole talk about Joselu's performance. Honestly, when I was watching the match, I was wondering, is there any reason why he was playing for a relegation team like Espanyol? Maybe there was. Like, how many chances you were missing? Our midfield, especially Fede Valverde, was spoon-feeding him to score goals. Bro, score this goal. And for God's sake, he can score goals. If you look his performance, position-wise, 10 out of 10 performance. Like, he's there where he needs to be. However, the most crucial part of a striker is finishing. And that's what he was missing. And it's not just Joselu. In fact, all of our attackers, like Brahim Diaz, Rodrigo, you might think, are they competing to score goals? Or are they competing to who can miss most of the chances? Every time they're trying to shoot, they're shooting just directly at the goalkeeper. They're not trying to shoot left of the goalkeeper or right of the goalkeeper, and they were missing so many chances. Even Carlo, who barely react in a live match, and he was even giving some emotion that we don't see very often. However, if you persist creating chance, your chance will come. And eventually, Brahim Diaz scored the goal that he deserves. And Joselu also scored his goal. For this goal, I think that's a tremendous passing from Rodrigo. That's a good pass. And Joselu had a good header. And we were 2-0 up. The match is over.
Stick with Vinny Jr. then, because he's back sooner than expected, and we saw some nice moments from him in that second half.
Vinny, as much as you could have expected for him, is what he did today. He was active, he was quick, he was fast, he was running behind. Anything and everything that you wanted to see. Maybe end product could be a little bit better, but that's going to come as he becomes sharper and sharper. I think this was encouraging from Real Madrid's perspective.
Yeah.
Vinicius Jr. is the best chance creator in this team, best forward in this team. There's no other player who comes too close to him. So having back Vinicius is a great opportunity for Real Madrid going forward, because now we have to play next week Napoli. And most importantly, Real Madrid is going to play Girona, who is top of the table. So having Vinicius back on time is great news for all Real Madrid fans. Being said that, when a player comes back from injury, the first thing what you have to look for, is he comfortable playing match? And the answer from today, yes, absolutely. We saw sometimes that the Vinicius has that silky move, a player who likes to dribble, a player who runs behind the ball, and he brings something different. Despite he did not create chance or score goals today, I'm just happy to see him back.
And especially for Carlo Ancelotti, Gab, he's got to be breathing a sigh of relief to have Vinny back.
No question about it. Now you have more flexibility. I don't know if Rodrigo played every minute of every game in his absence, but it certainly feels like it. Feels like, you leaned on him a lot, and he's still very, very young. Vinicius being back gives you options. Maybe we'll see a front three with Vini, Joselu and Brahim Diaz in certain situations, or Vini and Brahim Diaz attacking from wide and Bellingham from behind. Now you have options, and you have a genuine threat. You have the natural out ball down that left hand side, which is really important.
So given Vinicius is back, now we can try different formation. We can try different options in our forward. For example, one of the combo could be Vinicius in the left, Joselu in the front, and in the right, we can also try Brahim Diaz or Rodrigo. So we have different options, and it's always good to have more options than having just one option. So if you look at our performance today, first half, we were totally dominant. We created a lot of chances. As you can see that chance creation momentum from Footmob, that we were dominant in almost every aspect, especially in first half. Just alone in first half, we created 18 shots out of 21 shots for the total match. Also, once we scored our second goal, as expected, we slowed down the tempo, which we have to, because we're playing almost one game every 3 days. So 2 matches a week, that's a lot of match. Once you know that you're winning, you have to slow down the tempo and think for the next matches. As a result, in second half, Las Palmas had a lot of possession. Also, there is some bad news. It seems Alaba is injured. When I'm recording this video, I don't know the extent of the injury. Hopefully, it's not something really bad. So regarding today's performance, if you see man of the match by La Liga, I think it's given to Brahim Diaz. I think it's mostly because of the goal, which is important. But if I am the one who is giving this man of the match award, for me, the best player today was Fede Valverde. Given Modric and Kroos wasn't playing, he was the player who was taking that role. Like a player who will do everything. A player who's defending. A player who was creating chances. A player who played almost every part of the field. Left, right, front. And he created 5 chances. That's incredible. I would say this could be one of the best Fede Valverde's performance in this season so far. So for me, he was the best player. The second best player for me was Camavinga. Another dazzling performance. Look at the recoveries he had. How many times he had fast recovery. He was very energetic, and you could see the presence he had on the field. In fact, we saw the difference. Like once we took him off from the field, there was a little bit lethargy on the field. And for Rodrigo, I'm not saying he had necessarily a bad performance. However, my expectation from Rodrigo is much higher than what we saw today. At least I expect him to finish one of those chances. Now, going forward, if you look at the table of La Liga, right now we're sitting at second, which is good news because Barca lost points last night. So which means that now Girona is top of the table, which means the next week is really crucial. And to be honest, despite Girona is top of the table right now, in the long run, I don't see them as a real contender for La Liga. For me, the real contender for La Liga is either Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico. Anyway, the last point, I would say, despite we only scored 2 goals today, in another day, if we have better finishing ability, we could win 6-0, 7-0. As a result, I am content with our performance despite missing those chances. I think as long as you create chances, you will have your chance to win. Let me know, what did you think about our performance today?